Hi, this is Amelia. I'm going to be doing lives again, Fridays at 4 in May and June at our YouTube channel, youtube.com/@feministsurvivalproject. I'll be answering questions, singing songs, and talking about Murderbot. I hope you can join us. Things before we start. One, I'm just going to have you introduce you to people so that I don't have to read your bio because I have been a guest on many people's podcasts. And I wish they would just be like, what would you like people to know about you? Name, pronouns, what would you like? What are the parts of your bio that you feel like are relevant?
My name is Dr. Donna Oriowo. I use she, her, doctor, goddess series pronouns. I'm the author of Drink Water, Mind My Business.
Yes, you are.
I don't know what else anyone would know. I mean, I'm a sex and relationship therapist.
Yeah, with like an actual, like, all the way education degrees. The doctor is not fake.
At all. Like, it's
not even a little bit.
And I practice therapy in the DMV area.
Yeah. DMV, for people who don't live in that area.
Oh, yeah. Because I don't live at the Department of Motor Vehicles. I live in the DC, Maryland, and Virginia area, except that it is a very specific area. It is the metro area. If the metro don't go, then it doesn't count. Baltimore is not the DMV. Baltimore is Baltimore.
There's a lot of people who introduce themselves as from the tri-state, and I'm like, which
three
states?
Which three states?
Because I grew up in the New Jersey, Philadelphia, Delaware tri-state. Like, Philadelphia's a state, which it kind of is. But yeah, when people talk about their geography, it's very funny how localized they get. So yes, so you're a therapist.
Yes.
Hello, this is the Feminist Survival Project. This is the Emily one. With me today, instead of Amelia, is Dr. Donna Oriowo, who you just heard introduce herself as the author of the recently published Drink Water and Mind Your Business. Let me just say that very recently, Cynthia Erivo recently looked into a camera and said the phrase, drink water and mind your business. If Rich can find it, I'm going to have him insert the clip of her saying that. In response to which I'm going to reveal myself. So my identity in terms of racial politics in America is white lady who tries. So I'm going to risk that identity by saying, is drink water and mind your business the thing Black people say?
Yup.
Okay. Which makes it an awesome title for a book.
It's definitely a thing that Black people say. I mean, we've been saying like various levels of mind your business have been out there, but like drink water and mind your business, that feels a little bit more recent, but a little bit more recent as in like the last, I don't know, 5-10 years. I have no idea. Time is fake.
Time fully is a construct. Here's my whiteness. So Douglas Adams, the sci-fi author, had his alien Ford prefect say time is an illusion, lunchtime doubly so. So when I say lunchtime doubly so, what I mean is that's a Douglas Adams reference, and I apologize for the intense nerdiness of that reference.
I don't even have to know. Just be nerdy and tell me what it is. I'm ready to come on the journey of nerdiness.
I read the Hitchhiker books, the original trilogy, when I was in like 6th grade. I'm 48. Are we the same? We're like, no, you're younger than I am. You're like 10 years younger than I am.
30-something. I round up, so I usually just say I'm 40.
Okay, yeah.
And I say give or take. My family doesn't like.
I'm at the state of rounding up to 50. So I read the Hitchhiker books when I was in the 6th grade, at which point I did not understand that a Ford prefect was a car. And that a prefect was like a position that you had at a private school. I didn't understand any of that. I just thought it was funny. Time is an illusion, lunchtime doubly so. And here you are saying the same thing. Lo these.
Time is fake.
40? 35 years later, it's the same thing. So I got to read your book like last fall. And where I would like to start in talking with you, Dr. Donna Oriowo, is with when I blurbed your book, I did that by quoting you back to you.
Yeah. I was just like, oh, who said that?
I wrote it, I typed it in all caps. So this is a sentence from your book that I typed in all caps. So I'm going to lean away from my microphone and yell it. Nothing says I love you quite like destroying the system that took root within you. To which my only commentary in that email was, how dare you? And I will say to you now, why didn't you just punch me in the face? Why don't you just punch me in the face if you're going to write that sentence? And then send me the book so I can read it. Like you're like, here, read this. Instead of me punching you in the face. Can you talk to us a little about what that sentence means?
Oh, gosh. I feel like from when I wrote it to now, maybe the evolution of it has changed, or maybe it has rooted differently within me. But we're planted, watered, fertilized in the idea that somebody is better than you, period. The system is to say that you, the individual, are not that awesome. You're not that great. You're not that important. And as a matter of fact, you're such a small speck in the big cog of this machine that the only way for you to level up is to be exactly who we tell you to be. Be the right type of woman, to be the right type of man, to express your sexuality in the right type of way. And if you are a person of color, if you had the misfortune to be born with female genitals, that you are already less than and that you will never be equal to. So it is your job, your duty, and your responsibility to change as much about you as possible in order to make the white supremacist head delusion happy. So basically, become a pick-me. Pick me, choose me, love me. Your whole life becomes about being selected. And people think that when I say that, I'm talking about romantic relationships, and I am not. I'm also talking about pick me for this job. Pick me to be seen as...
Be your mommy.
Exactly. Pick me for worthiness. Pick me for humanity.
Friendship.
Everything. So basically, you lose.
Because I'm willing to sacrifice everything about who I am on the altar of your comfort and convenience.
Yes.
And you don't even have to thank me for it. You didn't even have to recognize that I sacrificed something.
Nope. Because the sacrifice is required.
All you have to do is pick me again next time. Then I know that I did it right. Right. Sacrifice is just like what I'm here for.
Exactly. So like sacrifice in the way that most people would talk about it is like a conscious thought on your part to give up pieces of yourself in order for someone else to be able to live.
Yeah.
Or to have livelihood. In the way that like people talk about like parents making sacrifices so that their children can have a better life than they. Except in this case, you are the child and it is your job to sacrifice pieces of who you are to mortgage them in order for them to be more comfortable with who they are because you stop competing.
Yeah.
Because you, and even though it doesn't necessarily need to be a head-to-head competition, because really it is a collaboration, they've created a system of competition. They have indoctrinated you into this system of competition and then said, you are the lowest of the low, prove yourself to me, and I will see about selecting you to be considered a worthy, worthwhile human being. That maybe I will let you have more things, and then you will think that having more things means that you are a better person.
Have you watched Andor?
I have not. Andor
On Disney Plus is the prequel to Rogue One.
Star Wars stuff.
It's Star Wars?
I've only seen 2 Star Wars movies ever.
Oh my God.
I know.
I don't know if you have Disney Plus, but if you have Disney Plus,
I have access.
Access is all you need. Andor is a prequel to Rogue One, released in 2016, which is the Star Wars movie that is explicitly about the origins of the rebellion. And Andor is a prequel is about the origins of the rebellion.
Oh, the origin. This is very meta. Origins of the origin.
Super wickedy meta. And like the joke people were making in 2017 after Rogue One had been released is, oh, the reason there's no brown people in the first 3 Star Wars movies is they all die in Rogue One.
I swear that is like somebody's like that feels like white supremacist delusion's wet dream. This idea that black people simply just don't exist. We exist in every iteration of everything. Get over it. Go be upset.
Yeah, right. That's the thing. They had to find a way to sort of compensate for the 1977 movie. And it was to put like all the black and brown people into the movie that was released in 2016 and have it end with the spoilers for a movie released 9 years ago, for which I apologize. It had to be all of them dying all at once. Here's the reason why we didn't meet any of them in 1977 is because in the year Emily was born, they all died. They all sacrificed everything there is to sacrifice. The reason it came to mind is because we're talking about sacrifice, and there's a lot of themes in the origin of rebellion in like who gets sacrificed and how and why.
Yeah.
And Andor there's 2 series, it's 2 seasons, which is deliberately vastly more diverse than the other seasons. And it is about like the foundations of where the rebellion that we meet with Luke Skywalker is built on the backs of the brown and black people of the galaxy a long, long time ago, far, far away.
That sounds sad.
It's intense. It is intense. Like, there's no way around the fact that it's intense. One of the things that they do really well. So as a fellow sex educator and even more so as a sex therapist, you will recognize when I talk about that fascism over the last 100 years, universally, no matter where on the earth we are talking about, in the last 100 years, if we're talking about fascism, autocracy, and dictatorships, like we're talking about in 2025, I don't think you're going to disagree with me there. It's about white supremacist hetero. It's not even necessarily white supremacist, because if we're in Rwanda, it's this tribe over that tribe.
Yep.
Hutu, Tutsi, Twa, like which tribe is oppressing which tribe. So it's not even necessarily white supremacist, but it is cis heteropatriarchal every single time. It is women on the chopping block.
Yeah.
And in Andor, the reason I brought up this whole conversation about Andor is because we meet a woman of the Empire. She is like raised in the Empire. She is fully brainwashed. She's willing to sacrifice everything she has in the name of the Empire. Ooh. She's willing to sacrifice her own love, interest, and relationship on the altar of the Empire. Everything. Do you want to guess how that story ends for her?
Not well, I'm going to guess. I'm going to say that she died.
Not well. She ends up in prison with no way out. Spoiler for Andor. Just watch Andor. You will love it, knowing ahead of time that things end badly for Dedra. Yeah. So given that this is like, because you wrote the book before last year's election.
Yeah.
Right? I read it.
Oh, it's been like written and done for a little bit.
Done. And all that has happened in the last little bit, in the last year or so since you finished writing it, I read it in December after the election had happened, but you had finished writing it before then. All that has happened is that the world has gotten more crystal clear in its priorities, in minimizing opportunities and access to well-being for Black women in particular in America.
Yeah.
which like is grotesque and fully predictable because of the nature of fascism itself is inherently cis heteropatriarchal. And in America, it is always going to be white supremacist.
Yeah.
I don't want to shock you.
Shock me.
I'm white.
What?
That's my shocking statement.
Twin.
I know it's always been true. I don't like to talk about it. Wait, I'm gonna change glasses.
Ooh, yes.
Your publisher sent me these. They are the glasses on the cover of your book.
I had mine, but I can't see. So
No, I can't see. I'm gonna have to change back out of them immediately because just the blurriness is kind of making me dizzy, and that's not great. But yeah, they sent me the glasses. So as a white lady, I was like, why am I reading this book? Why are you interested in my opinion of this book? Like, it's not for me. And I sobbed, like, had to close the book and pause for a big chunk of time to, like, process my feelings. Even as, like, a white lady, I'm not your target audience. So can you talk to us about who the book is for and why now anybody should read it?
goodness. This book is for anyone who has been told that self-esteem is a personal problem.
Ah!
That having it or not having it is a personal failure.
Mm-hmm.
That you aren't good enough with no roadmap on how to get better. It's for anyone who is impacted by supremacy culture.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean white supremacy, male supremacy, heterosexist supremacy, able-bodied supremacy. Pick your supremacy. If you have been impacted, this book is very likely for you. Mm-hmm. It may not spell it out directly to you because I am very much talking to Black women.
Yeah. Anybody smart enough is able to translate a book that is not for them into language that is for them.
Yeah.
Because women have been doing that forever for books that were written for men.
Yep.
People of color have been doing that forever for books that were written for a white audience.
Exactly. So it's like, just do the extra step. Do your thing.
Just do the little bit of extra step. If you're a white woman listening to this, and anyone who is... So, Amelia and I first began making... I don't think you've ever met my twin, Amelia. Their gender identifies with she, they pronouns. So just to let you know what pronouns I'm going to use the word twin instead of sister.
Okay.
Anyone the reason we began this podcast back in 2019 was because we thought 2020 is going to be a really hard year. And we want to make
You knew in 2018 that 2020 would be hard. Who told you?
I knew in the fall of 2019 that 2020 was going to be hard. So we started the podcast 1 year out from the 2020 election. We didn't know there was going to be a pandemic. We did not know that.
A dumpster fire.
We didn't know how bad it was. We were honestly our optimistic thinking was there might be a woman candidate for president. And that's going to be really hard for a lot of people. And we want to be there to help them. And we ended the podcast as we had always intended in November of 2020. And we had not intended to restart the project, the podcast. But then after the election, Amelia was like, we have to start the podcast again. No, we have to start the podcast again. I was like, I'm not ready. I'm not ready. I'm too stressed out. I'm not ready. And Amelia was like, but the world is ready. But people need help dealing with what's coming. And I was like, I know. So
yeah,
there was this musical about a pub in New York City right around the Civil War that was run by free Black people, New York City, that was both Black people and especially Irish people. This musical made about how this pub was set on fire by people who were angry about the outbreak of the Civil War. And right toward the climax of the show, there is this song called Stronger Than the Fire, We're stronger than the fire. And I say, let it burn, 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 let it burn. I think the title of the song is actually Let It Burn, but we named the title of the episode about it Stronger Than the Fire, but it could have been Let It Burn. Because we always, like, the thing is, like, do you set it on fire? You can't set it on fire because, like, people live there. And the people who live there need somewhere to go. You can't set it on fire until you have somewhere for them to go. But what happened with the 2024 election and with the 2025 inauguration was it no longer became a choice. It was on fire. Somebody else set it on fire.
People are still in it.
And all we had was the reality that it's been set on fire. So we need to we're stronger than the fire. Every resource in the world that we can help people to access within themselves and in their family and in their community to help them be stronger than the fire that we are all sitting in right now is what this podcast is about.
Oh, I like that. That sounds like community to me, because community is always bigger than whatever stuff it is we see outside. It's just a matter of whether or not we're going to take responsibility and accountability.
Right.
Both, not either or.
How do we do that? No pressure. Just solve it.
Whew. I think that first we definitely define what it is, right? So like accountability, I think that people use it like it's interchangeable, and it's not really. Responsibility is task oriented. What can you do? What will you do? And accountability is outcome oriented. So what you did or did not do that led to what outcome? I think that we are often looking to place blame, and I'm just like, okay, we can. Does it move us to where we want to go? Does it get us any closer? I'm not saying don't say that, hey, you're to blame. If you want to say it, say it. But also now, what are we all going to do? What is our individual and collective responsibility to get us to a different outcome? And for me, part of the problem that I see is that no one is defining what we're going to do. They're saying we don't want to be like this, right? A way is not a destination. I want to go, I don't want to be like my mom. I don't want to be like my dad. I don't like this government the way it is. Okay, noted. What do you want? Like, what do you want? What do you want? I mean, like, to take it back to that movie, right? And I'm just like, you've got to say what it is that you want. A way is not a destination. And your brain doesn't even process it the same way. Mm-hmm. All those don't knows, like, when you tell a kid, don't touch that, all they really heard was, touch that.
Yep.
Right? Instead, you want to give them something else, like, here, you can play with this. It redirects their focus.
Yes.
And you're not redirecting your focus by saying, I don't want to be like mom, dad, uncle, aunt, this government, whatever. That's not enough. What do you want? So that you can actually switch your focus. Instead of running away, you're running toward
something. It's not what you're fighting against. It's what you're fighting for. It's another Star Wars reference.
Hey, Star Wars got it right then. Star Wars definitely got it right. I think that we get stuck in trying to make things be not like that, but we haven't defined what we actually want it to be. I think that that's where we start. We start with saying what we call a spade a damn spade, and say what it is that we want.
Yeah.
Like, stop saying that, like, it's like saying, I don't want to eat chicken. Okay. What the fuck do you want to eat then?
There's so many things to eat that aren't chicken.
Exactly. And if that's all you've got to say, like, I want to go on a trip, I just don't want to be in Maryland. Well, where the fuck do you want to be? Because I can take you over the border across the street to DC, or I can get you on a plane and fly you to Fiji. Those are not the same thing. What kind of experience are you looking for? Mm-hmm. I think that we have, number one, not defined that for ourselves, because a lot of us have had choices ripped from us as children. We have not been able to learn ourselves, and no self-concept, no self-esteem. If you don't know you, you cannot like you. And I know that somebody right now is probably feeling a little bit hurt in their feelings. So let me tell you what it is that you're probably liking. What you're liking is what someone else told you you should be.
Yes.
And if you have been successful and dressing up in the vestiges of what they wanted for you, then you like those pieces, but it doesn't mean that those pieces are yours, that it belongs to you, or that it is you. So you have esteem in what you have pretended to be. So you have esteem in your acting skills. That doesn't mean that you esteem yourself.
Yep.
Because if you don't know you, it's very difficult to like you. How can you do it? You don't even know that person.
You don't even know. So the simple version of this for me is when in Burnout, Amelia and I write about there's a gap between who you are and who you are expected to be, you and expected you, and there's this chasm. And you're supposed to be able to like navigate that gap and pretend that you actually already fully are the thing you're expected to be, while also simultaneously working forever to try to be the thing people have told you are supposed to be.
Yep.
And like, God forbid you let the mask drop for a second and just be who you actually are. Because then people will know who you truly are.
And then you would be judged on that. You would see whether or not people like that. And I think that for some of us, that's too vulnerable, right? If you continue to pretend to be that which other people have given you, then if they don't like that, you know it's not really you, right? It doesn't mean that it doesn't hurt, because really they're saying that your acting skills suck. So it's like, damn, let me do better about that, right? Let me hide these other pieces of myself, shame, and cover it up with more bravado and more of the trappings of what I am expected to be. And while you're busy doing that, you're still denying yourself. So you end up having like deep-seated shame, not guilt, shame. Specifically shame because you are not doing a good enough job at being the expected as opposed to being who you are. So, I mean, I like to say that most of us are walking around basically as somebody's narcissistic masturbatory wet dream.
Yeah.
We are not ourselves. We are busy. Our hands are full of what parents wanted us to be, of what friends think we should be, of what all these people, society included, have told us that we are supposed to be, and the limits that they have placed on how far we can go in what we are doing.
Yeah.
So you will feel disconnected from yourself. You're disembodied. It's hard to have pleasure when you're not even in there.
Yeah.
So your orgasms suck. The relationships feel like they're only so-so. Everything feels fraught because it's not you.
Because one, you're pretending to be the sexual person you were always told. I'm a sex educator. Donna, obviously, is a sex therapist. And like, yeah, underpinning everything we talk about is always your sexual experience. If the sex you have means that you're always pretending to be the sexual person you think you are supposed to be, having the sexual experiences you think you're supposed to have, you're putting on a show, a performance, so that your partner's expectations are met instead of actually thinking about your own internal experience, your own sensations of what's happening right now, as opposed to just what is this supposed to look like? How is this supposed to seem? How are other people's needs being met in this moment, as opposed to like what actually works for me? Like, of course, the sex you're having is not going to be sex you are interested in having for any reason beyond like getting some external validation of who you believe you are supposed to be, which is in direct contradiction to who you believe you are supposed to be. And every time you reinforce that narrative of like, see, this person likes who I pretended to be, which is all the more reason for me to pretend to be that person. So you get more and more trapped. And so I'm sure you've had this client where by the time you get to your 50s and your 60s and your 70s, you're trapped in a narrative of who you're supposed to be, and you've never even experienced pleasure and joy and connection as your true self.
Yeah. And even worse, you expect other people to pretend the way that you do.
Oh!
So if you should have offspring, you teach them what you learned, which is to put themselves aside. If you have brothers and sisters, if you have friends, family members, you will look at them being themselves and you will discourage it. You will be the hater that they are talking about.
We literally had that conversation in high school. Like, I have an identical age sibling. So we're both in high school. And like a thing that was for sure true about me in high school. I don't know about you, but I was a lot. I was like big. I experienced emotions at a large scale. This is not a new thing for me. This has always been true, is that I am loud. I feel my feelings at a large scale. And Amelia was a very good girl. They behaved themselves and followed the rules. And one day in like 10th or 11th grade, we were still sharing a bedroom. And they were like, you can't just feel your feelings. And I was like, yes, I can. And Amelia's response was fully just like, no, it's against the rules. You are not allowed to make other people uncomfortable with your feelings. And we had this fundamental disagreement about like whether or not a person is allowed to be 100% of who they are. And the lesson I had to learn over the next like 10 years was like, there's a time and a place to be who you truly are around the people who welcome who you truly are. And like, there are times and places where who you truly are, like that is not the time and place to be 100% of who you are. The checkout at the grocery store, just be nice. Just make that, like the person working at the checkout is probably having a hard day because that's a hard job. Just put on a mask and be nice, right? And there needs to be a place where people can go where they know that they can be 100% of them truth selves. So that it's about recognizing the people and the places where who you truly are is welcome so that you can learn from those people that who you truly are is someone worth being. Does that make sense?
It does make sense. I think the part that makes me sad, though, is the part where most of us spend most of our time in spaces where we are not going to be allowed to be ourselves. So you spend most of your day disembodied because you're working a job that does not really want you there and not your full self, not who you are authentically. So you have to be a version of yourself. And that masking, like between the masking and the code switching, all of these things can just increase anxiety. And I think that part of the problem that I see is not necessarily that people that, like, I don't know that there's a problem with being yourself. I think the problem is that we have decided that the niceties, they supersede the honesty of someone's authentic self. Like, I never aim to be nice. I aim to be kind. Donna's going to show up as Donna in most places that she's in now. Whether or not I'm cussing that day, that's different, right? Like, there's some places where you don't cuss.
Yeah.
There's some places where maybe, like, I still laugh, but I, laugh to myself like a library. Keep it down because you don't want to disturb other people. But my whole life can't be about not disturbing other people because we are so invested in not disturbing other people. We don't even consider which people are we supposed to not be disturbing, right? And the power that is even at play in that conversation. Like, you dress the way that you dress, you speak the way that you speak, you show up the way that you show up, so that somebody who is already in a position of power doesn't have to be inconvenienced by who you are is ridiculous. When I think about science and research, so many things are normalized on white male bodies.
Oh my God.
And extrapolated to everybody. Because what? We are an inconvenience? And we maintain our silence.
But Donna, don't you know that female bodies are just like so complicated to study?
And I'm just like, if you get it with the female bodies, then you can extrapolate it to everybody. Work it in person. Like, what are you doing?
A body that doesn't menstruate is so much simpler to study. And by a body that doesn't menstruate, I do specifically mean like male bodies.
Yeah.
Ones that have never menstruated, that don't have the hardware. You have to know that like a body that doesn't change over the course of a month is so much easier to understand.
Yeah. And that makes it so much easier to misunderstand what is going on in anyone else's bodies.
Yeah.
Right? Like, male supremacy in that way.
Yeah.
I don't even think that people understand all the ways that it shows up. Like, have you spent your spring and summer suffering from not being able to breathe? That's because there's tree sperm everywhere and nowhere for it to go. So all of that lovely pollen doesn't have anywhere to go because we don't have fruiting and flowering trees and plants. because it's easier to maintain male type trees. I'm just like, so you have to buy the Zyrtec. So you have to buy the Benadryl. So you have to stay inside, cover your nose, and suffer and feel like you're dying for weeks at a time because of somebody else's horticultural sexism?
I live in a valley. And when I moved here, I transitioned into a life where I have to take allergy drugs literally all year. And I was like, so you're telling me that it is normal to be allergic to the state all year? And my doctor literally said, well, you live in a bowl full of pollen.
Yeah, apparently.
So I take one medication 6 months out of the year and 2 medications 12 months, the other 6 months. Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
I'm allergic to the state.
Quite frankly, it's ridiculous. And the thing is,
it's
we're
insane.
taught not to even question it. We're taught not to see it. That's part of the growth.
It's not climate injustice. That's just take a drug.
Yes. Right? Like it's capitalism and like a grotesque artistry to hide the ways in which supremacy culture is present so that we simply say it is what it is, which I often reinterpret, like when people say like, oh, it is what it will be. It's defeatist. So we say it is what it is. We're not just acknowledging what is current. We're talking about what we expect to continue to be. And like, this is why I like Suzanne Collins' book, Sunrise on the Reaping, because Hey Bitches Boo Thang is trying to get him to understand that like, just because every birthday that you've been here, there's been a reaping, doesn't mean that every birthday that you will have moving forward, there will be a reaping. To know what is and to know what is possible is not the same thing. And I think that especially where it comes to our self-esteem and how that self-esteem sort of interacts with the world around us, we do a really great job of talking about it is what it is as though it is what it will be. It can change. Just because you were dealt a shitty hand, just because you didn't get all the things that you would have liked to get, all the nice accoutrements, does not mean that that's all you're ever going to have ever. Just because your family of origin sometimes is the problem doesn't mean that your chosen family will continue to be the problem.
Right.
These things, they're changeable. They're transmutable. They don't have to stay the same. But if you say it is what it is rhetoric, then it is what it will be. You lost before you started.
When Amelia and I were doing an event, we were doing an event at MIT this spring. We actually got asked specifically about the word acceptance. Because it gets used in like mindfulness talk a lot of the time of like accepting what is true right now. And it like for real is the case. James Baldwin wrote about this, that you have to like accept, like not everything that is accepted can be changed, but nothing can be changed until it is accepted, that you have to like recognize what is true in this moment. But just because you've recognized what is true, just because you've accepted the truth of this moment, doesn't mean even a little bit that you've accepted that it can never be changed. But until you recognize what's actually happening right now,
you can't do shit.
Not until that recognition happens can you be like, oh, and I understand like what the options are for changing it. Like if it's your family of origin, maybe you're never going to change the people who raised you. Maybe they are who they are.
Accept their limitation.
And maybe they can still be welcome in your life, maybe.
Yeah.
That's a decision we each get to make. But that doesn't mean that the people you surround yourself with as a full-grown adult now have to be anything like, have to recapitulate the dynamic of your family of origin.
Because why are you recapitulating the family dynamic? Run.
Like, that's a real question. Why are you recapitulating your family dynamic? Right?
Run with both feet. Or your wheelchair. Or your arms. Whatever you get. Run.
Amelia in their wheelchair just be like, going in the other direction. Because, like...
Or at the very least, set a boundary. Right?
Yeah.
Like, understand where someone's limitations may lie and then set the boundaries accordingly. So, like, for a while, like it took me a while to be able to say like, okay, I cannot have X conversation with X person.
Right?
It leads nowhere. It makes me feel shitty. It makes them feel shitty. But I can talk about these other things. And they didn't lose value as a person just because they can't be my everything, because no one person should be your everything anyway.
Right.
Like different people feed different parts of you, and that's okay. Let be fed by these various pieces that you get from the community that you surround yourself
Yes.
with. And don't look for one person to be an entire, tabernacle choir. They are one singer in the choir. They're not the whole thing. Minus Kelly from.
And if that one singer has shown themselves to be not an alto, there's nothing wrong with not being an alto. Let them be a soprano.
Yes.
They can be that singer. They don't have to be every voice in the choir.
Exactly. And I think that sometimes we're looking for one person to be everything because we have been taught a very, I think, toxic sort of individuality, that the only way to move away from your individuality in that way is to lean onto whoever your romantic partner is going to be. That even your friendships are a temporary happenstance until one meets their one true love. In which case, when you meet this one true love, they will become now your everything. They will be your father, brother, sister, uncle, auntie. They will be your best friend. They will be your child. They will be everything.
They're going to meet all the needs you have in the future, as well as all the needs you didn't get met when you were a child. All those needs going to get met by this one person who's going to be able to predict everything that you need. Before we go on to say other things, because I had to open my library app in order to reserve Sunrise on the Reaping, which is apparently a prequel to the Hunger Games trilogy. That reminds me that the Boston Public Library, I have a digital membership in the Boston Public Library, does not have copies of Donna's book. So whatever your library is, if they do not have Drink Water, Mind Your Business, please ask them to carry your book. If you're the kind of person who has money to buy a book, I have multiple copies of the book already. I can only buy so many, like, truthfully. But you will 100% be glad that you read this book if you get this book. Did you narrate the audiobook, Donna?
I did not. Apparently my voice was unsuitable. Or they really just wanted to go in a different direction. I have no idea why they chose whatever direction that they chose. But the narrator is a lovely Black woman.
Okay.
I got to choose. And I was just like, yeah, this one right here.
So you like the audiobook? That's the thing that matters.
Or at least I like the audiobook reader. Like being honest, I haven't listened to it yet myself. But the samples that I heard, I enjoyed.
You like the narrator.
Yes.
Audiobooks are important to me. So I have asked my library to notify me when they do get copies of the ebook and the audiobook. And when you ask your library to notify you when they get copies, that lets them know that there is demand for this book. So buying the book is great. And
so helpful.
From my point of view as an author, buy the book from wherever. Because buying the copy of the book from wherever is always good for the book. Buy it in the way that suits you. If it's your local bookstore, that's great. If it's Amazon, it's probably like a few dollars less from Amazon. That's probably true. And buy the book from wherever. But it is also really important for support of the book to request it from a local library. That is another thing that if you're like, I don't have $15 right now, because let's face it, in this economy, some people don't. But a way that you can be very supportive of the book and then get to read it for free and be supportive of an author and of a book that you love is to request it from your local library. That is a thing you can do.
And I would really appreciate it because I have a secret goal. That is not a secret, or at least it's not going to be a secret after I tell you. My secret goal is I would like 5,000 copies of this book in 5,000 hands by the end of the summer. I know that is large and probably somewhat unrealistic because it is June. But I just like, you know what? I like to live in Delulu land, and I can be as Delulu as I want here.
I don't think that's out of reach.
And if I ask and everyone takes it as personal responsibility to say, I will be one to get this book, then if 5,000 people are like, yeah, I got $20, I'm going to go get the book, then go mad. But don't just get the book, because that's not the point. I don't want people to just get the book for the sake of getting the book. Read the book.
And then put it on a shelf and then never read it. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people who they're like, I purchased the book. That is 100% of the investment that is required of me in order to benefit from this book. It is now sitting on my shelf, and therefore I read no, read the pages, sob on them like I did.
And there's free goodies in the book, right? Like there's a QR code. It will take you to get the download, because I created a workbook companion, because I don't know about other people. I don't like writing in my stuff. So I did create a free, it's free. So
I had a printed PDF, so I wrote all over mine. There's flags on it. Yeah.
So you can definitely do that. And I created a free membership website sort of thing, where I've been having one-to-one conversations with some other people about how they define self-esteem, because I am an expert. I'm not the expert. I think that a lot of us have expertise, and quite frankly, I think that we all talk about the same thing, just in a different way.
Exactly.
So for me and my money, I was just like, well, where can I put more resources? And this is where I'm putting the resources. So as I come across things, as I learn more, as I think more about it, I will just be putting it there, so that, and it, again, free. Part of this is me trying to democratize information. So
Sure.
not have it be all one requires money in order to get it. So even if you don't get the book, you can still get the information.
Yeah.
Drinkwaterbook.com.
Drinkwater book. That is the easiest thing to spell in the entire world.
Because Oriowo is not that easy.
It is, yeah. And a nod right is not necessarily intuitive.
No, but Drinkwater?
Totally clever as it is. Drinkwaterbook.com. You can get free resources. That is fantastic. The reason Amelia and I, the podcast is 100% free, and we don't take ads, and we will never do ads, is because we're not trying to make money from this. We're just trying to help people get access to the resources they need to survive what anybody who listens to this must agree is a particularly dark moment in history. Mm. And I am absolutely of the opinion that your book is one of the ones that's going to help people provide those tools to stop pretending to be the thing that they have been told their whole lives they are supposed to be, and instead start embracing who they truly are, and recognizing that who they are is someone worth being, even if some of the people around them are never going to agree, who may even feel that if you try to love and accept and welcome and embrace who you truly are as someone worth being, that's somehow selfish of you or arrogant of you. I mean, I've gotten both of those things.
I'm just selfishness and arrogance are both okay.
Yeah.
I'm because Amanda Seale said it. Who else are you supposed to be full of? If you're not full of yourself, who are you supposed to be full of?
Who are you supposed to be full of? Sex joke I'm not going to say out loud.
Sometimes the difference between arrogance and confidence is who you're talking to. Mm-hmm. Right? If someone says that someone like you should not feel this good about themselves, they're going to read you as arrogant every single time.
Yeah.
Right? I'm a dark-skinned Black girl with blue hair. There are definitely people outside who believe that I should act my skin tone, that I am too dark to think that I'm that cute, or that I am too Black to think that I'm that smart, that I am something less than I am because of whatever narratives that they have been given, and whichever ones that they've decided that they're going to apply. That's number one. Most of that is not my business. What you think about me is entirely your business, unless you make it my business. But beyond that, you thinking that I'm arrogant, that's a personal problem.
Yep.
Right? I don't think I don't identify as arrogant. It's not to say that I do not take feedback, that I don't hear feedback when it is given. But what I also know is that 100% of people who don't know me can't tell me I'm arrogant.
To have your confidence misconstrued as I believe I am better than you. So I recently watched The Extraordinary Attorney Woo on Netflix, which is about an autistic attorney, a lawyer in Korea. And being autistic myself, in the episode where the person who is supervising her at the time calls her arrogant, think you know so much, come in here trying to teach the rest of us. Like, I've heard it so many times just because, like, I know things, and I was told my whole life that knowing things is good. Most of my value lies in, like, me knowing things. So for me to come in confidently and joyfully, be like, look, I know a thing. This is what I have to contribute. And then be told, like, how fucking dare you, you arrogant bitch, coming in here knowing things, trying to teach us something, and have it be like I'm trying to force something on you. No, I have nothing else for you. Like, my knowledge is what I have for you. And now you're telling me even that I'm punishing you because I know the thing?
That part. It's just identity threat, right? Because we've also been taught, like, the way that this capitalistic society works is that if you are not the smartest or the best, then you are nothing. So if someone is coming in teaching you, you are feeling like you are nothing because they know something that you do not know. Yes. Someone will always know something that you do not know. And your value is not derived from what you know and don't know or what you have and don't have. If you are alive, you have value. And your value is equal to everybody else. Other people may have more than you, but they are not worth more than you.
Can you just say that one sentence one more time? And I have had this done to me. Brene Brown, who is a delightful human being, did this to me, and I felt a way about it. But I'm going to do it to you. Can you just say that thing you said? Can you just say that again?
Other people may have more than you, but they're not worth more than you.
They are not worth more than you.
Worth is evil.
Capitalism, summarized in one sentence. We're taught that if people have more, they're worth more.
And we got it way backwards. We're definitely taught that people who have more are worth more. And sometimes that they're even smarter. I'm looking like the thing that they were smarter about is stealing.
Yeah.
Sometimes that's what they were smarter about. Some people were smarter about stealing. Some people were smarter about cheating other people. You are not interested in cheating other people. You just want what is yours. So if all you want is what is yours, what you've earned, what you can, to do the things that you can with your hands, with your mind, with your mouth, with your being, with your body, then you do those things and you earn what you earn. But I'm just like, I'm not aiming to be anyone's billionaire, right? Mm-hmm. I don't think there's such thing as an ethical billionaire. Like, nope. And for anyone who's upset with me, like, go be mad at your mama. I said what I said.
Go be mad at the billionaires. There's like 7.
There should be no time ever where the wealth is concentrated in in just so few people, and everybody else is told to fight it out, duke it out. No, I miss choice. That's what I miss. I miss choice. I miss when Sprint was Sprint, and T-Mobile was T-Mobile, and Singular was Singular. I miss when Nextel existed and was not absorbed into Sprint. I miss that there used to be like multiple cable companies, and you could just pick the one that you want. That when people had to compete.
Yeah,
I missed choice, and now we have pseudo choices. Like if you have Disney Plus, then you also have Hulu. Baby, it's owned by the same company.
It's owned by the same company,
right? And like so, I miss choice. I miss what I don't like is the sort of coming together of all these conglomerates to make a super conglomerate where then they use their power and money and influence to change all of our lives. I don't like that.
When Come As You Are was first published a mere 11 years ago, it was the big 5 publishers. We are now down, I think it might be the big 3.
What?
In just 11 years. Like that much consolidation has happened.
Thanks.
Yeah. But on those occasions when I have been called arrogant and when I saw that experience represented in Extraordinary Attorney Wu, it wasn't even just about like, I want to be recognized for what I have. It's like, my knowledge is my way of being of service. And you're telling me now that if I try to be of service, I can't do that without being selfish, without being self-serving. Like, what? Like,
Try to figure out when we got to a place where people couldn't do both. Right? Like, yeah, like I'm a therapist. The work that I do as a therapist, I believe it is valuable work.
yeah,
And I also like to eat.
right?
Right. And I feel like sometimes people they try to tell me like, oh, well, it shouldn't cost what it costs. I'm like, it's not just that it shouldn't cost what it costs, but really, I'm like, you're talking about a systemic problem and you're making me the scapegoat.
Yeah.
Right. So it's like, so it shouldn't cost what it costs. What would you prefer I charge? And do you understand what therapy does to the therapist?
Right.
Right? Because something that people don't know. So like just a little like, haha, just in case you didn't know this. Black women therapists who are, number one, you're dealing with racism, you're dealing with misogyny, you're dealing with misogynoir. So you're dealing with all of these things just by inhabiting your body, not to mention whether or not you're fat, dark skin or light skin, what texture hair you have, whether or not you're straight, whether or not you're trans. All of these things are already happening in your individual body. But as a therapist, your job is to be there and hold space with other people, right? Apparently, a lot of us end up with chronic illnesses.
How could it? Oh, wait, it's the chronic stress suppressing your immune functioning.
Uh-huh.
Uh-huh.
It's the lupus. It's
The endometriosis.
like so many people end up developing these other issues. And there's one in the hospital right now, right? Another one who developed lupus. And when the doctor was looking, it was like, it could have been your job because of how much stress you were under constantly and consistently.
The phrase just stress drives me nuts.
My body doesn't behave the way it's supposed to, right? Like my blood does not blood the way that blood is supposed to be blooding. So I am chronically tired. I'm chronically tired. I don't have any fucking iron. This is with iron supplements. I take iron supplements every day, 150 milligrams, not 30. It's not, not that little stuff, that big girl stuff. And change my diet to include more iron-rich foods, more vitamin C, more whatever. I go to bed at a reasonable time. I don't wake up too early, and I'm still chronically tired. How difficult it is to hold other people's stuff in this world.
Oh my God.
The one that's outside right now under this administration with being Black and all the other stuff, right?
Yeah.
You're adding it together and holding space for others. It is a recipe. Like, this may be a TMI moment, but when I was working for the state, not the state of Maryland, as a social worker, I was under so much stress that my body produced clear poop. Have you ever heard of someone having clear poop? I went to my doctor because I was just like, well, that can't be right. And at the time, my doctor, the best doctor, Dr. Bonavente, who is now retired, he sat me down and he's like, he ran the test and he was just like, I think you're going to need to choose you or this job. You're going to have to choose because there is no reason this should be happening. And we have run every test. We've done ultrasounds. They've taken blood. They looked at this. They looked at that. And he was just like, it's not the commute to work. At least not only the commute to work. It's what's happening while you're there. Your body is not processing the stress well. You need to choose. When I left that job, my body returned to normal.
So the thing I think of is when I had a colonoscopy and I had to take boatloads of laxatives. And by the end of it, I was basically pooping water. That's what I think of when I think clear poop. Is that what you're talking about? Something like that?
No, it was, I don't know what the hell happened. I really do not know. It happened then and it was consistently happening until I left that job.
But obviously your body was not functioning.
I left that job. I got a new job. The problem went away. When the new job that I went to started to also stress me out. And I was just like, this feels familiar. I left that job. And so I let my
Do you have the wisdom to be like, I recognize what this feels like, and you didn't have to wait to see a cue like clear fucking poop? to be like, I know what this is.
Sometimes you not need to fuck around and find out. Sometimes you learn from the wisdom of the times before and choose a different course.
I fucked around that one time. I found out. So next time, I don't have to wait for the fucking around. I can just be like, and I'm gone now.
Exactly. I learned how to set better boundaries. I learned how to communicate better. I changed my self-talk as well. Like there was a lot of work that needed to happen. But I remember at that time, all I did was work. All I did was work. And the thing is, they thought I didn't work enough. They said I was not a team player. Like, you're unwilling to come early and leave late. I'm like, I'm unwilling to come any earlier or leave any later. I get to work at 7.
God.
I work from, like, at the time, I think I worked from like 7 to 7. I don't want to come any earlier, and I'm not leaving any later.
So when you probably heard the like whole can't pour from an empty cup kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like, cool, right. And like some people are told that when they have an empty cup and they like maybe talk about how empty their cup is, what they get told is not, oh, let me put some water in that for you, but rather like, well, what are you doing with that cup? There's no water in it anyway. Why don't you give your cup to Jared over there?
Who needs an extra cup?
Who like he could actually he has all this extra water. He could put water in that cup. Why don't you give your cup to, like, I guess good for you that you're like protecting your boundaries and like protecting your peace by keeping your empty cup. Good for you. But like, Jared could really use that cup.
And it always just sounds so damn ridiculous.
But the person who's saying it in real life 100% believes it.
Word, it's the difference between the individual and the system. So people will blame the individual for, like, it's easy to blame me and say, you're the problem. You're the reason you had your clear poop. Instead of a work culture that says that the only way that I will not be on a performance improvement plan is if I get there early for free and work late for free.
For free.
Right? That you're supposed to have a working lunch. That that I know that the building doesn't have heat today. It doesn't mean you shouldn't come. Right?
But also the people who have less are worth less. So accept less so you can be worth more?
More?
Wait. Oh, wait.
I even remember that there was a rumor at the time that was saying, because at some point I was just like, yeah, I'm not doing this anymore. They were like, Donna's difficult to work with. Right? And my supervisor went on maternity leave.
Let the record show Donna is one of the most delightful human beings on earth.
Yes. So I had a new supervisor, and I remember her being surprised that I was not difficult to work with. She was just like, oh, you're actually quite reasonable. I was like, what does that mean? Like, oh, I was told that you were difficult to work with. I was like, in what way? They said that you're not willing to compromise on time. I was just like, I'm not willing to compromise myself for your time. Y'all should have hired more people, not put more work on one person. I'm like, I had people that I was supposed to see in like North Carolina. I'm driving from DC to North Carolina like once or twice a month. I'm like, that's a lot. I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, I left the office I got to the office so I could take the company car at like 6 to drive to North Carolina so I could be back and beat traffic. I'm like, be so fucking for real? I'm like, so was it me, the individual, or was it the toxic expectation and work culture?
And people like us are very, very fortunate to know, like, what kind of work feeds our souls, what we're here on earth to do, what our purpose is, and how extraordinary that we get to do work that both provides a paycheck and helps us to feel like there's purpose and meaning in our lives, because not everybody has that. And at the same time, the kind of work we do tends to be the kind of work where they expect you to sacrifice your whole physical self on the altar of service to others.
Yeah. And I'm not doing that. I have business to mind. I have water to drink. I have to be able to take care of myself. And I think that so many of us have been taught how to be in service, but we haven't considered what we're in service to. We're in service to the white supremacist capitalistic delusion, which most of us will never be able to enter into in any real way. They sold you the promise. They sold you the dream that if you do good work, that you too could change your tax bracket. The thing is, you're more likely to die in the same tax bracket you were born into.
Yes. That's even more true now than it was 50 years ago.
Yeah, but somehow we all believe that we should protect the rich because one day we'll be them.
One day we could be them.
I'm like, so one day you talk about feeling exploited and your goal is to be an exploiter. I'm like, that's the goal?
Is that the goal?
For some people it is.
It's not the goal.
They like the idea that they can get something and then
Sure. When you've been punished all your life, there is going to be a part of you that wants to punish somebody else.
Yeah, you want to haze over it.
Yeah. I had to behave myself. I had to pretend for so many years to be somebody I wasn't. And now here you come with your blue hair trying to be like, it's perfectly acceptable and permissible for me to be who I am right here in front of you. And how dare you? Yeah. No, I don't relate at all. This isn't at all what I sobbed over the pages of your book, printed out from a PDF. Nothing says I love you like uprooting the system that was planted in you years ago.
Yeah. I want people to uproot that system.
Yeah.
Because number one, I'm so excited to meet who you actually are. I am excited. I'm excited by the prospect, right? Like one of my sisters she's overly friendly and it used to drive me nuts until I learned that she doesn't have to be me. She can just be her. And that I can appreciate how friendly she is with other people. Another one is a cynic. She's cynical about everything. And you know, I'm just like, I kind of like it. Right? Like, I like it. I like this version of her. Now, does that mean that I can always be with super friendly and super cynic? No. It just means that I can appreciate who they are and that they don't have to be me in order to be loved by me or to be appreciated by me. I want to be able to meet them, not the version of them that they feel that they must put on in order to be in my presence. Mm-hmm. I'm like, how many of us know the people who are in our lives? Are they dressed up in the cloak of your expectations or are they being themselves?
Wait, do you mean this isn't just about how we can finally receive enough love to feel nourished, but also how we can love the people we love so that they too feel loved enough to feel fully nourished?
Yeah. One person doing something, I'm like, I think that people misunderstand and underrepresent their impact, right? Like there's this African proverb, if you have not spent the night with a mosquito, right? Like if you think you're too small to make a difference, you have not spent the night with a mosquito. I have. I remember one time I woke up with so many damn mosquito bites on my leg that I swear that my leg was just one big ass bump.
Yep.
I'm like, one mosquito makes a hell of a difference. And if all of us do our part, right? Like you do your part for you and you show up as you. In showing up as you, oftentimes what happens is that we give other people permission to do the same. And when those people, because some people will, try to triangulate you back into the position that they know you to be, you must stand strong. You must stand with the tribe that you built of people who surround you, who are happy for you to be exactly who you are, who are accepting of who you are. So that those people, instead of triangulating you back into position, now have to find a new position to be in.
Yeah.
Because we're all like, I mean, triangulation, definitely talking therapeutic terms, but like we all have a role to play within family systems, friend systems, and also in society at large. And usually it's what other people want to their benefit, not to your benefit. Mm-hmm. So when you become who you actually are, when you wear it and you're just like, I'm naked and this is it. Hey, once you outside and you naked.
Yep.
Other people will see that nakedness. And some of them will comment on the bravery and try to figure out how to do it for themselves. And other people will tell you to get dressed. Just don't get dressed.
Yeah. Because they have been taught their whole lives that they are not allowed to love their body exactly as it is. And how fucking dare you stand out there naked like you are allowed to be proud of the body that you have exactly the way it is. What is the opposite?
Recently, hold on real quick. So recently I was talking to a friend and I was like, oh yeah, I don't like this person. And she was just like, why?
Mm-hmm.
She's a really sweet person. And I realized that it had nothing to do with her. It had everything to do with me. I didn't know her well enough. I don't even have the range to dislike her. It was something that about how I was feeling about me that I needed to examine.
Always.
And because this person stood so firmly in who they are and are part of my tribe, a distant part, a not everyday talking part, she challenged me on it. And I had to ask myself the tough questions. And I realized, oh, I'm jealous and I'm envious. I'm both. I was jealous and I was envious. And I was just like, okay. I mean, it's the equivalent of some people saying that they don't like Beyonce. I'm like, what about her don't you like? I'm like, do you know her well enough not to like her? Or are you saying that you don't like her music? You don't feel like you like her politics? What is it that you're feeling like you don't like? Like, that's okay to say, but you probably don't know whoever it is you're saying you dislike. You don't know them well enough.
Right.
So
what is the other direction of the analogy? So anyone who thinks they're too small to make a change has never tried to fall asleep with a mosquito in the room. That's like, you can be small enough to be irritating to just about anybody. And that is often where I find myself. But like,
that is not even about
what if you're like
it's
so
making
big
a
and
difference.
so beautiful and so confident and so just fully present over your own center of gravity that like, oh, this makes people uncomfortable because all of the things that I feel confident and comfortable about that I have esteem for in myself and it makes other people uncomfortable. Yeah. Yeah, because a lot of us like get taught our whole life we're not allowed to.
Word. Everybody's not going to be comforted by your presence, but those people don't have to be in your presence. They can remove themselves.
Yeah. We're going to do, very soon, we're going to do an episode on shadow work. Amelia's primary experience of like really high quality therapy came through dream work and exploring their shadow self. Like when you meet somebody who just like rubs you the wrong way, somebody you just really don't like, chances are it's because there's something about them that is like the things you have been taught you are not allowed to like about yourself, or that you've been taught to feel ashamed of in yourself.
And that you've been hiding.
Yeah. So in the same way that Attorney Wu was told she was arrogant, when she came in knowing something, this guy, her boss, felt super threatened by like how much mastery she had of the law. And that's why he hated her.
Like, I hate that you know more than me. Sometimes it's also, I hate that you have more than me. I hate that I think of you as being better than me.
Yeah.
And the thing is, whether or not someone is better than you is probably in your head.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I'm going to go out on a limb and say that a lot of people don't actually think that they're better than you, but you might think that they're better. You think that they think that they're better than you, which really is just you thinking that they're better than you.
Yep.
And instead of coming home to roost in the fact that it was you that created this cycle, you give it to them and you make it their responsibility. Me saying that I did not like this person wasn't about that person. It was about me.
This person.
It was about me noting their work ethic and also noting the ways in which their privilege helps them in a way that I am not privileged that won't help me. And that wasn't about her. That's number one, is about the system. Mm-hmm. And number two, it was about, are you doing what you can? Recently, Kev on stage said something like, you are worried about the outcome, but you should be worried about the output. Put out the thing that you want to do. Worry about that, because that is what is in your control. You're not in control of how people receive it. You're not in control of anybody's algorithm. So as long as those things remain true, just put the thing that you want out there, including yourself.
Right.
Put the output and stop worrying about the outcome all the time. Granted, I also know that safety, because everybody doesn't have access to the same amount of safety. So sometimes that output can have death as an outcome. It can impact Dr. Candice Hargons, who wrote Good Sex.
That's another book. If your library doesn't have it.
Yes.
Oh my God, get that book.
It's talking about the impacts to, what is it? To livelihood, luxury, and life. Mm-hmm. And being your authentic self, showing up outside, liking who you are, can have impacts to your luxuries, your livelihood, and your life, especially if other people don't believe that someone like you should have access to it. You have to determine whether or not it is worth it to live a life less than what it could be and what you want it to be in order to keep yourself alive, survival, or if you're interested in thriving and living. There is no wrong answer. And there will be moments where you're like, oh, I can thrive here, but I have to just survive here.
Yep.
But knowing the difference, knowing the truth of it, knowing who you are, and at the very least, even if it's just private to you and a few others, is, I think, way better than not even having it known to you.
Yep. That has been one of the toughest lessons for me from an autism diagnosis point of view, that like it was just true that there were going to be some spaces where I could feel comfortable and confident and fully myself, and there were other spaces where like that was just not something that was available to me. And that wasn't things being wrong. That was just life as it currently is. And like I could do everything that I can within my lifetime to change that. And also, like I can make life better for people in generations following me. And it was still going to be true that there would be some places where I was welcome and some places where I wasn't.
Word. And part of our work is to just build our capacity to be able to accept who we are.
Yeah.
And to understand that sometimes other people will not accept us, that we will be rejected. Now, you don't want to be rejected and disrespected are not the same thing.
Nope.
Right? Someone not being welcoming and being disrespectful are not the same thing. And certainly like pensions of power mean that we all have to be careful because we all have power in some way, shape, or form.
Yep.
Particularly those of us who are white and male and cis, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Like we
straight
have to
and
look
Christian
out for,
and like between 25 and 55.
like there's a lot of power and a lot of privilege in those identities. We have to watch ourselves.
Yeah. Like if you're a citizen in America, right now is the moment when you have more privilege than somebody who is not documented in this country, right? And anybody who has that privilege has a responsibility to use it at a time when people who don't have those privileges are at greater and greater risk.
And like, I don't like, I want to make it concrete, not abstract. Not just their luxuries are at risk.
Right.
Their livelihoods, their ability to make money, to have a roof over their head, to have food in their belly, to have clothes on their back. These things are at risk, as are their lives. Whether or not they will be alive or dead rests on sometimes what those of us who have the privilege will and will not do. And that is our accountability as global citizens.
And nobody has to feel any way. We don't have to feel good about it or bad about it. We just have to be honest about where we are with like all the different overlapping identities that we have of like, what do we have access to? What do we not have access to? How can we use the access we have to make life better for people who don't have that access? And
you are a shining example of this. You do this a lot. Like even before I ever remember having a conversation with you, I remember someone contacting me about a speaking engagement at your recommendation.
Oh, great.
And I was just like, that's kind of awesome. Like, because other people, I feel like we can be so entrenched in having everything and sort of hoarding all the stuff that no one ever wants to mention your name in a room. No one ever wants to say anyone else's name lest that person get that opportunity or lest that person earn the money from the thing. Like this shirt was created by Dr. Lexx. We've talked about Dr. Candice Hargons.
Hargons, yeah.
The capacity expert is RaQuel Hopkins on the internet. And I'm just like, I'm not afraid to say other people's names.
Since we're saying the names of amazing people, Shamika Thorpe. Now, you have written a book.
Dr. Shamika Thorpe, research extraordinaire.
Has not written a book yet, to my knowledge. But like, when is she going to write a book? Oh my God, I can't wait.
I'm ready.
And like, I don't recommend it. Writing a book is not fun.
No, actually, you know what? The writing the book part was fine. It's the part after with the marketing.
It's hard.
Like the publisher's expectations versus what your expectations were, and where you have like communication gaps and expectation gaps, and how you're gonna leap over those gaps. And I'm also not a natural salesperson. So
no, it's against everything you've ever been taught you're supposed to be as a human being.
The second someone says no, I say okay.
Okay, we're done. Thanks for listening, though.
Meanwhile, marketing says that you're supposed to ask multiple times to make sure that the no is no, because most people will say no to anything that they have to buy. And I'm just like, but they know their wallets. I don't know their wallets. And they're like, well, it's only $20. I'm like, that's not an only, because if you work for $20 an hour, I asked you to give up an hour of your life to buy this thing. That's not an only, especially when you don't know when you're going to die. So for me, marketing is difficult.
Yeah.
So now I have to just think of all things as an invitation. I'm inviting you to get this book.
Yes.
And if it feels right, like if after you get it, you read some of it and you're just like, yo, this is great. Number one, tell me. Like, DM me. I read those DMs, and it's one of the things that sort of keeps me going with the invitation.
So you're superb on the internet. Where can people follow you on the internet? Because you are like I think the first place I saw you was on Instagram.
I mean, I used to be super active, then I got unactive, and now I'm back to active.
Are you active again?
Yes, just on a different name, not under Anad Wright, now under Dr. Donna Oriowo.
Dr. Donna Oriowo on Instagram. So I was supposed to be I have always been supposed to be very active on. We need to stop. I have kept you so much beyond the time that you're supposed to be doing this. I'm so sorry, but you're so good at social media. I don't know how you do it, but like, if people are interested, if people are participating in social media, are you on anywhere besides Instagram?
I'm on TikTok.
Donna's so good at video. Oh my God.
I'm trying to get better. I'm trying to figure it out.
The Hey All videos, the videos where you're just like, let me tell you about a thing that happened between me and a client the other day. I just want to share this message.
Word. I used to be like, if therapy walls could talk, they would say.
Yes, therapy walls could talk.
Like, I used to do that one a lot, and then I stopped. And I keep saying I'm gonna run it back, and then I don't run it back. So now I'm just like, look, this is what's been the theme of therapy this week has been responsibility.
Yeah. Oh my God, it's so. And I know that social media is very hard work.
Yeah. And
I know, like, my experience was always like, people can just read the book. If people just read the book, then they'll get all the content. They don't need to why am I doing all this extra additional work to put out the social media stuff that is free for them to consume, but is so much labor for me to produce. And I'm not that good at it. But when you make it, I'm just like, everybody who sees this is going to buy your book immediately, because they're going to be like, I want that to be my therapist. I'm going to show these to my therapist and be like, why can't you be more like this?
Because the therapist is who they are, I am who I am.
Because the therapist is who they are, yes. No, my therapist is a very different kind of person, and I appreciate my therapist for who they are. But there is a part of me that's just like, I wish my therapist were this, just like, just tell me if I'm fucking up. If I'm fucking up and it's my fault. And there's a big old blind spot that I've had for the last 10 years. I've had the same therapist since 2008. just say it.
love that longevity. I've had my therapist since, I had a therapist, and then I ended up changing my therapist. And because the first one, what I loved is that she said, I am unable to help you with this thing. Mm-hmm. And I think that you should see this type of therapist instead, someone that is trained in this. Mm-hmm. I'm not trained in that. So I found that person. She's like my unicorn. And I got to do my own work. I mean, that's what it really comes down to. There's work for me to do. And I am doing that work with her. And I'm it's weird to see the differences between one therapist to the next, because you would think that I could only mesh with this type of therapist. And it's clearly not true.
It's definitely not true.
It's definitely not true. And it makes me wonder how big people's lives could be if they stop thinking of themselves as only having a certain type. As in not just a type of romantic partner, but also a type of friend or a type of job. And if you stop putting limitations, what could you be? What could you have?
Right. Because the more diversity you interact with, the more you find out about yourself.
Yes. And the more that you learn about yourself, the more that you know, and the more that you're able to like it. right? Like you can hold yourself in so much more esteem with the more that you learn about yourself, because some people think they are some shit. And I'm just like, no, sweetheart, you are the shit. There is a difference.
Help everyone listening to this at the end of it is like, oh, right, I'm a good person living in a really difficult world.
Yes.
Oh, right.
Not a really difficult person living in a really great world.
Right. The world. The world hard. World
Like this is bass backwards.
it is rough out there. We are all doing our best. Are you making an effort to be kind? You're doing it right.
Yeah. Do your best every day,
Yeah.
knowing that your best will change from day to day.
Yes. And on those days when your best is not enough.
Commit to doing better tomorrow. And that's all.
Yeah. Yeah. Your best is what it was today. And that was what you had. It was your best. And just because it wasn't what everything that was needed doesn't mean it wasn't enough for you to give. It was 100% of what you had to give.
So good job.
You cannot give more than that, and don't give more than that. It's like running, like run as fast as you can today and also the 3 days after that. Because it's not about how fast you can run today. Because it's not just today. You need to run every single day. And running, I don't mean literally, because I'm not going to run ever again in my life if I can avoid it. That's not
Like,
not where I am.
Why am I running?
Right. No. I'll walk. I'll ride a bike.
and,
I will
and
skip.
sometimes that will be the day, right? Like
Yeah.
sometimes you'll be running, and sometimes you'll be walking. Sometimes you'll be skipping. Sometimes you go back to running.
And I do indeed live in the kind of neighborhood where every now and then there's a bear on the street, and I might run.
Away.
Away from the bear. But I won't expect to be able to do it again all of the next 3 days because it's about what's sustainable over time. And that doesn't make you a worse person. Anyway, I am so incredibly grateful that you could come and talk to me for all this time. Anybody who doesn't already own a copy of Drink Water, Mind Your Business, you can get a copy. You can get a copy from all kinds of places if your library doesn't already have it. Even if you have purchased a copy already by the end of this episode, still go request that your library carry the book because that's not just helping you. It is also helping all the other people who don't have the $20 that it takes to buy a copy of the book. And it helps the book. It tells the publisher there's demand and interest so that when it comes time for the paperback, they put a lot of resources behind it. And it's not just an author working her ass off trying to make things happen. Which, having been an author...
How to get to that goal, 5,000 books by the end of summer. I would love to know that 5,000 people have had it, have read it, and I am thinking about possibly doing a read with me a little later in the year,
Yes.
so that so that we can go through like the process together. I'll probably keep the groups relatively small, but
If people want to find out about that, where do they go to find out about that?
drinkwaterbook.com will be your research hub.
Drinkwaterbook.com.
Yes, because if you also sign up for like my email list through there, then when I'm ready to do something like that, you will be one of the first to know.
God.
And I'll put it on my social media as well. So if you follow me on Instagram, you'll see it on Instagram as well. Just make sure you hit that little ding because apparently you can follow anyone you want. It doesn't mean you'll see their stuff.
It does not. Thank you, algorithms. That's a completely brilliant idea. A lot of people need like the extra kick of like a deadline to finish reading like chapter by chapter of a book. Otherwise they start reading and then they get busy and they stop reading. Like many people have told me it took them more than a year to read Come As You Are. Cause like it's not easy to read stuff that's as confronting, right? Like this is,
and I would do it probably like one chapter a week style.
Yeah. Which makes it so palatable and so supported. Plus, you get to meet other people who are on the same emotional journey that you're on. Oh my God, that's such a brilliant idea.
So, like, a little read with me. I'm trying to figure out where my health stuff will be. And once I know where that is, then I'll be able to definitively pick a time and say, okay, and now we start.
If you ever want, like, someone to talk about sleep and perimenopause, I have become the expert on sleep and perimenopause because like my whole life is defined by whether or not I can sleep as a result of perimenopause. It's nuts.
Yeah, I might have to We might have to have that conversation.
Yeah. There's almost nothing I know more about than you, but that might be just because it has been so immediately relevant in my life.
When the things thing the way they thing,
You go to Google Scholar and you look up the things.
yeah. Like right now, I am trying to become the expert on how does one endure the MRI machine.
Oh, yeah.
And people have given me many things to consider. I'm just like, I can't. I'm like, you want me to be buried in that tube? I don't
It is
think
cold.
so.
It is loud.
My body
It is
vehemently rejects it.
inherently anxiety inducing.
Yeah,
You gotta have strategies in place.
Claustrophobic. I tried twice yesterday, and I was just like, nope, get me out, get me out, get me out now.
Yeah.
And I also have claustrophobia, so
Yeah. Do you not have access to, like, there are open MRIs.
yeah, I'm gonna look for open. Someone said look for open MRI, take anti-anxiety meds, see if they will allow someone to be in the
Don't
room
be a
with you.
fucking hero. Take medication.
Yeah, I'm not trying to be a hero.
Take extra.
I will do all the things that I need to do in order to get this thing done.
Yeah.
And I decided that it's okay for me to ask for help. Because there was a point in my life where it wasn't. And I realized that that was also about my self-esteem, that I didn't think, number one, I was worthy of help. And number two, that I wanted to show people that I was a good enough person to be in their lives.
Strong
So I
enough
didn't
to
wanna
be able to
ask.
do that by myself.
Exactly. So I didn't want to ask people for help.
Yeah.
So now I'm just like, nope. I want the meds. I want someone to hold my hand. I want to open an MRI machine, and I want a really nice tech. I want it all.
Yeah. I feel like a really nice tech shouldn't be a thing you have to request.
No, my tech yesterday was phenomenal. He was so kind. Him and I guess like the nurse. They both sat there. They were just like, okay, we're gonna take our time. You're crying, so you're not getting in this machine until you stop. So I'm not telling you to stop. Take your time. And I was just like, okay, I'm ready. They're like, okay, this is what's gonna happen. This is what you're gonna hear. This is what you're gonna see. And at any moment, if you are like, that's enough, squeeze this thing, we'll get you out. He was just like, I can tell you before we take every single picture so that you have constant, like, there's some constant communication here. You'll be able to hear me. It wasn't enough for me. I need meds and I need someone to hold my hand.
Yeah.
But they were willing to make accommodations and I appreciate that. And I am proud of myself that I asked for the accommodations that I needed.
It is not for me to say this, but I'm so fucking proud of you.
Thank you.
That you asked for what you needed, that you recognize that there's nothing wrong with you for having that experience. And it is completely normal to try to get your needs met. And I am also really glad that they were supportive and there for you.
Yes, being a person with needs has gotten such a bad rep. And I'm just like, we say you're a needy person. And I'm just like, the person is not a needy person. They're a person with needs.
Yes, all people
And
are people with needs.
sometimes those needs supersede what you are able to give. And when they do, don't demolish that person by telling them that they're needy. Simply let them know that you personally are unable to meet all of these needs.
A person doesn't need too much just because they need more than you can give them.
Exactly. Because now you're having a self-esteem conversation on both sides.
Yeah.
One person who's not allowed to have needs and one person who's not allowed to say, I cannot meet all needs.
Okay, we have to stop before we get into like all of ableism. Because that was another thing in Extraordinary Attorney Woo is basically a conversation about like, can you be in a romantic relationship if you have needs? It turns out the answer is yes.
Which would make sense because
all people have needs.
Word. And how much we need and how little we need can change from day to day, from one time of our lives to another time of our life.
And long-term relationship is by definition a changing of needs relationship.
Yes.
And increase
because you're
in
committed
needs.
to it. Or at least you're committing to the idea of being committed to meeting this person's needs.
Yeah,
However,
this person's needs are going to change. I'm going to do the best I can, and we're going to work together.
Yeah.
That's the
who I
commitment
was
we
when I was 17 and who I am as a almost 40 or 40-ish. Not the same person, but the needs have changed over time, and sometimes I return to earlier needs. But yes, we're supposed to stop.
Yeah, because you've been so generous with your time. And I've just been like, tell me everything you know. Thank you so much.
I feel like I know a lot of useless nonsense as well. So you want some of that?
I have so much more useless nonsense that I could talk about. There's so many things that don't need to be talked about. But so drinkwaterbook.com is a place where you can go to get like worksheets and sign up for the newsletter and find out when reading groups are going to happen. If you're the kind of person who's like, I am not going to read this book unless I can go one chapter per week, and hear from the author and be helped through all of the, because Emily told me I was probably going to sob on the regular while I was reading this, and I need somebody to be there for me if that's going to happen to me.
I will hold your virtual hand.
Drinkwaterbook.com. I love the book so much. Thank you for writing it.
Thank you for reading it. Thank you for your feedback. And thank you for the way that you've honored me with the work that you have been doing around my book, which is quite incredible.
It is. I mean, when I say it's it's not like the least I can do, because I could have done nothing, but like truly for the way this book made me feel, this is like just honoring what the book did for me. Cue the ukulele. Our end music is ukulele music.
I never aim to be nice. I aim to be kind. Donna's going to show up as Donna in most places that she's in now. Whether or not I'm cussing that day, that's different, right? Like there's some places where you don't cuss.